Yo, 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 what up, good people? You are tapped into the Grapes and Grit podcast. Let's go. All right, good people. What's going on, man? What's going on? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Grapes and Grit podcast. All right, head on over to grapesandgrit.com to check out the brand and connect with us. All right, we are also on IG. Handle is Grapes and Grit. Shout out to our partners, Galva Agency LLC, as well as Omni Cosmetics LLC. All right. So let's hop into it. All right. Well, welcome to the second episode of Grapes and Grit podcast. I'm just as excited as the first episode, just simply because it's the second episode. As simple as that. But, in our last episode, we touched on growth, right? We talked about, growth in itself being the very foundation of human existence, right? We talked about true growth starting with our mindset and, us needing to find our humbleness within our greatness. Overall, we explored what growth looks like, as well as how powerful growth can be. Also, in our first episode, I kind of referenced images of, cornfields, and I kind of spoke on how, we can search the internet and, all of these nice, majestic images pop up showing, what well-kept cornfields really look like. But we know little about what farmers have to go through to get and reap that finished product that we all enjoy. So, there are 4 steps to corn production. All right. There are 4 steps to corn production: planting, germination, vegetative, and reproductive stages. All right. Today, we will use this process to kind of explore how to facilitate growth in our lives. All right. So, inspirational quote. All right. Don't go through life, grow through life. All right. That's Eric Butterworth. All right. Before we jump in, make sure you beautiful people like, comment, and subscribe to the Grapes and Grit podcast. Head on over to grapesandgrit.com to check out the brand and connect with us. We're also on IG, handle Grapes and Grit. Shout out to our partners, Galva Agency LLC, as well as Omni Cosmetics LLC. All right. All right. So in this episode, I want to dive deeper. All right. I want to dive a little deeper, not too deep, but I do want to kind of speak on how do I facilitate growth? How do I facilitate growth? The first thing to look at when figuring out the growth formula, per se, is acknowledging the fact that growth requires vision. All right. Growth requires vision. And in order to grow, you must have the vision to accompany the work. And also, without a specific vision, you have no direction. And I really want to emphasize the term specific simply because there is a big difference between a dream and a vision. All right. A dream is something you imagine as the best possible outcome for yourself or others. A vision has actionable steps. It has actionable items that are mapped out to turn that vision into a reality. All right. Kind of going back to the cornfield analogy, right? Vision is knowing where your land is and where you want to place each individual seed to harvest corn. right? And also having that vision is also acknowledging that each seed is unique and designed to be placed in the exact spot you, as the farmer, right, has designated for that particular seed. So, the reason you should have vision for your growth is because God has had a vision for your growth even before you were brought into this world. All right. And it's that simple, and in that vision also lies your uniqueness as well as your purpose. All right. And then just to kind of go further on that, not only should your vision be clear, but your vision should be adequate. All right, I'm going to say that again. Not only should your vision be clear, but your vision should be adequate. A true vision from God does not stop with you. All right. You have to lay the vision out, plant the seeds, and leave the blueprint for those after you to carry on that vision. All right. We also have to understand that growth is natural. All right. Growth is natural. Growth is a key function of every living organism on this earth. All right. I would not be talking to you right now without my mother's conception, my childhood development, and the constant evolution of technology. Growth is completely natural and should be embraced. So with that said, I want to kind of go back to those 4 steps of corn production. All right. The planting, germination, vegetative stage, as well as the reproductive stage. All right. The planting stage is done as early as temperatures permit in late winter or early spring. It's best to sow your corn as soon as the soil temperature reaches a consistent 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Corn seeds also should be planted in rows 8 to 10 inches apart, and with the middle row having 3 more rows on either side of it to allow for optimal pollination. And then we have germination, right? With adequate moisture and soil temperature, the water will absorb into the seed and begin the process of germination. All right. Depending on the environmental conditions, the emergence of the radicals from the seed can happen as quickly as 2 to 3 days after planting. And then we have the vegetative growth stage. The vegetative growth stage is broken down into substages that are labeled VE and V1 through V18. This stage is where the plant development happens. And then lastly, we have the reproductive stage. At this point, the corn has grown fully and the ears are still maturing. The total number of kernels and rows on the ears are fully determined at this point. Instead, the plant has to focus on reproduction and the continuation of the species through the development of the kernels in their husk. All right. So before we continue, beautiful people, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Grapes and Grit podcast. Head on over to grapesandgrit.com to check out the brand and connect with us. We are also on IG, handle Grapes and Grit. Shout out to our partners, Galva Agency LLC, as well as Omni Cosmetics LLC. So I wanted to kind of lay out those steps of corn production for a reason. All right. I wanted you to kind of see how closely the evolution of corn kernels correlates with our lives. All right. So I know it may sound a little cheesy and a little goofy, but just bear with me. All right. The planning stage is the equivalent to you beginning the execution of your vision. All right. This is when you start putting your plan to paper. This is when you make your ideas tangible. All right. And now that you've sown your seeds, it's now time for germination. It's time for you to feed your vision. It's time for you to water your roots. It's time for you to stop doubting yourself and lean into your faith to direct your steps. It's time for you to, most importantly, do the work. All right. It's time for you to, most importantly, do the work. Once you've laid the foundation, your vision is now at the vegetative stage. It's now time for you to watch your harvest grow. There will be ups and there will be downs, but the overall trajectory should be aimed upwards. Constant growth is always better than quick growth. With these in mind, know that growth can only happen in the right environment. And this is probably my favorite point of the entire episode. All right. Growth can only happen in the right environment. You have to set yourself up for success. Okay. That means having the right mindset, a clear vision, unshakable faith, and work ethic. These are all things that contribute to a suitable environment for growth. Your harvest does not grow without the right temperature. Your harvest does not grow without the right amount of water or without the right placement or positioning of the seeds, which is why you should be very mindful of where you allow yourself to be or who you allow yourself to interact with. And lastly, the right growth fits perfectly within life cycle. Doing things the right way, doing things with integrity. Everything will feel right whenever you are within God's divine path for your life. Everything will feel like it's piecing together. This doesn't mean everything will be perfect or things will be easy, but you will be able to find peace in the midst of struggles if you're within God's plan for your life. Thank you for tapping in, Grapes and Grit family. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you are motivated to not only grow, but embrace the process of growth. I hope that you now see that growth may be uncomfortable at times, but it's very necessary. Be sure to do the work, watch your harvest grow, and leave the blueprint for those after you to follow. Continue forward, never backwards. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Grapes and Grit podcast. Head on over to grapesandgrit.com to check out the brand and connect with us. Also, shout out to our partners, Galva Agency, LLC, as well as Omni Cosmetics, LLC. Until next time, growth, strength, and longevity is the wave. See you soon.